Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God Almighty be upon all of you. We at All Truth Revealed are making this video because sometimes we meet evangelist preachers who are adamant that all Bible versions are the same but with different translations. So the question arises, are there any differences between different versions of the Bibles? I don't want to be offensive, but the harsh reality is that there are differences. To understand these differences in the Bible, it is important to know the history of the Bible. The Bible has seen many changes over many hundreds of years of its history. In the past 200 years, more older manuscripts have been discovered, which shed more light to what could be the original manuscripts. None of the original manuscripts have been discovered and may never be discovered. One of the biggest discoveries in recent years was the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls date back about 300 BCE and were found between the years 1947 and 1956 in 11 caves in Qumran near the Dead Sea. Among the many scrolls found, 5 of them were from the Book of Tobit, which are called 4QTOB. The Book of Tobit can be found in the Knox Bible, but it is called the Book of Tobias. In the New English Bible, with the Apocrypha, it is called the Book of Tobit, but is found in the Apocryphal section. Both Tobias and Tobit seem similar in their structure of the story, but the text varies. Here is an example. Chapter 14, 1 and 2, Tobias in brief reads like this, that he died at the age of 102 and was buried in Nineveh. While chapter 14, 1 and 2 of Tobit in brief reads like this, that he died at the age of 112 and was buried in Nineveh. In some Bibles, the Book of Tobit / Tobias is not to be found in the canon. Another example of the differences can be found in the Book of Esther. In Knox's version, it has 16 chapters, and the apocryphal section of the New English Bible, it shows 16 as well, but in the New English Bible, it has only 10 chapters. When you compare the apocryphal book of Esther with the book found in the Bible, Esther chapter 4 verse 8 of the apocryphal version has 50 extra words as against the Hebrew version, which is found in the Old Testament. Now let's compare the authorized version with the revised version. The authorized version is affectionately known by some people as the King James Version. The authorized version came out in 1611. At that time, there weren't as many manuscripts available as there are today. The revised version uses many more manuscripts which have been discovered in the last 200 years. The New Testament of the revised version was available in print form in 1881. And some years later, the Old Testament was printed shortly, followed by the Apocrypha section and added to make the revised version of the Bible with Apocrypha. Here are some examples of verses used in the authorized version but aren't used in the revised version. Matthew chapter 17 verse 21, Matthew chapter 18 verse 11, Acts chapter 28 verse 29, Mark chapter 9 verse 44, and Mark chapter 9 verse 46. These verses are not to be found in the revised version because they weren't found in the oldest manuscripts which have been discovered in the past 200 years. These were just a few small examples of the various differences between different versions of the Bible. There are 36,000 differences between the authorized version compared to the revised version. I'd like to finish with some verses of the Qur'an in Arabic with English translations. This is from Surah Baqarah, which is chapter 2, verse 79, and it reads, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَكْتُبُونَ الْكِتَابَ بِأَيْدِيهِمْ ثُمَّ يَقُولُونَ هَذَا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ لِيَشْتَرُوا بِهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا. Then woe to those who write the book with their own hands and then say, this is from Allah, to traffic with it for a miserable price. فَوَيْلٌ لَهُمْ مِمَّا كَتَبَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ. Woe to them for what their hands do write. وَوَيْلٌ لَهُمْ مِمَّا يَكْسِبُونَ. And woe to them for what they earn. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you.